Hi all. Today's session will talk about the Scrum methodology overview and what is a Scrum and what are the roles in the Scrum and how the overview we have in some Scrum methodology. Okay. Before getting to this Scrum methodology explanation, I just wanted to explain about the earlier project methodologies, what we have before this Agile Scrum methodology. If you take any project plan, like when any business value or the requirement or change request is receiving from the client to the project manager or project team, they will start planning of the requirement delivery and they will use different characteristics. So every project plan consider uh, 5 characters. So like scope, resource, time, quality, risk. So these are the 5 characteristics that have to be managed while you planning a proper plan for your the requirement delivery to the client. If you look at the scope defines what will be covered in a project. So this characteristic scope defines what are going to be covered in the whole project and what are all going to be delivered while we deliver to the client. So this phase is defining the complete full picture of your requirement. Okay. And second characteristic is resource. If you want to deliver any project, we must need a resources, right? This resource characteristic defines what can be used to meet the scope. So you have defined the scope, that means what it is going to be covered in a project and what it is going to be delivered to the client at the end of development. But if you want to define a scope, we need a resource. That is the second phase. That means what can be used to meet the scope is going to be defined in the resource phase. And coming to the time characteristic, this is the third phase. This time phase defines what tasks are to be undertaken and when are we going to start. That means after you define the resource, define the scope, you define the time now, right? You have to say something, this so and so task is going to be start, so and so date, and this task is going to be completed in so and so date. So you have to define the time so that you will be deliver the required commitment and client delivery on date, right? So this time phase defines the tasks are to be undertaken in the specific time and when. Okay, coming to the fourth characteristic is quality. See, this quality phase defines, the spread or deviation allowed from desired standard. So what kind of spread deviation we should take care of it to deliver quality product. So what kind of methodology or what kind of strategy we are going to follow, and what kind of guidelines and what kind of pattern and framework we are going to adopt to deliver a quality product to the client. Those things are being defined in the quality phase. And last one is risk. This characteristic defines in advance what may happen to drive the plan off course. So in the risk phase, this is not a frequent phase. This sometimes it is going to happen, but it's not good for a good delivery of project. But this phase define in advance, we are going to define if something is going to happen like this, we are going to do it this way. If something is going to be happen to stop delivery of product, this has to be taken. So these kind of scenarios we are going to define in the risk characteristic phase. That means if anything happens, what we are going to be taken to recover that problem or to recover that situation. So these are the 5 characteristics we are going to adopt in the project plan, any project plan if you take. Okay. So I think it's not the right time to discuss about more on those, but the right time the session is about Scrum. Scrum is a agile methodology. So you know what is agile? Agile is a time-boxed iterative approach to software delivery that builds software incrementally from the start of the project. Okay, this is a time-boxed. So that means you are defining some time to deliver a project to the client. That is why we are saying this agile is a time-boxed. It's an iterative approach to deliver a software incrementally from the start to end. That means you are delivering your software iterative approach. That means incremental approach. Okay, let us say I can say is iterative and incremental approach. Okay, in this agile we have so many things. The Scrum is one of the method, and we have Kanban, and we have agile modeling, and we have extreme programming, and we have other software methodology, adaptive software development, and we have Crystal, and we have feature development model, etc. These are different agile methodologies. Each one have its own individual pattern. Okay, but now in this video we only talk about Scrum. In later sessions we'll talk about the other methodologies. Okay, so Scrum is agile project management methodology. It does not address the practices required to create a goods of any kind. Okay, this methodology does not address, please note that this methodology does not address the practices required to create a goods of any kind, but instead it gives us the process that will take us from the inception of vision to the final product. But the Scrum will give you a view, inception view, to bring out your the development process to get the quality final product. Okay, regardless of the actual development process. See, that means instead of putting full effort on doing of development and delivering of your requirement, it tells you the process of how you will deliver the quality product if you follow these Scrum methods. Okay, and also the Scrum process does not tell you how to create a quality. Again, this will not tell you how you are going to create a quality, but it shows you the quality is where your problems are and challenges, you fix them. So it tells you what are the problems you have and tells you how to fix it. Indirectly it will give you the quality, right? So these are the main characteristics of a Scrum. If you look at the diagram here, this is what the rugby team, because I've taken this rugby team is going to be working in SL methodology kind of thing. So this rugby team is an ordered formation of players used to the start and restart the play, in which if you look at the team, the forwards of the team forms up with arms interlocked and heads down, right? If you look at here, the front end formation of peoples are head downs and forcefully pushing the other peoples to hold the ball, right? They are down heads and they are interlocked with arms and push forward against a similar group from the opposite side, right? So that is what the reason this Scrum methodology is similar way of a rugby team, because they're pushing. Okay, interlinked team is pushing because in the Scrum methodology, no level, no the separation. All are equal, all are multi-skilled, and all are same. Okay, so this methodology, I am going to cover these things. Agenda is what is a Scrum, and the Scrum rules and Scrum process in detail. Okay, if you look at the Scrum, the Scrum definition is a Scrum is a framework for developing complex products and systems. It is grounded in a empirical process. Please note that this word empirical process, I will explain you in a moment. It is a grounded in empirical process and control theory. Okay, Scrum employs an iterative and incremental approach to optimize predictability and control risk. So as I told you, Scrum is nothing but a grounded in empirical process and control theory. Empirical process is nothing but the process which is nothing but doing an inspection. That means they will inspect the development process, like in this Scrum retrospective, and they will adopt what are all the wrong mistakes they have done in the earlier sprints and what are all the new things we have to take to avoid those problems. That means it's a grounded in empirical process and control theory. That means it's continuous process to inspect your process and adopt the new things. Okay, and also Scrum employs an iterative and incremental approach. As I told you, it's a continuous process and you're delivering in the incremental approach. Okay, to optimize the predictability and control risk. We are optimizing the predictability. That means the risk we are optimizing it, right? Because I have a huge requirement, and I'm going to deliver in a like 6 months of duration. Then, if I follow the Scrum methodology, every 2 weeks I will be delivering piece of product. That way, I'm going to reduce my risk on the client, and client also having risk on me, because every 2 weeks I'm delivering and I'm having a touch with the client, taking a feedback from the client. Client also suggesting some changes. This way, I'm having a strong relation between client and myself, the product owner. Then I will be reducing the predictability of control risk. Okay. To talk about more on this iterative and incremental approach, I will just show you an example. This is a Mona Lisa picture I have taken to explain the iterative and incremental approach. So if you look at the incremental approach here, to draw a Mona Lisa picture, I just started with off part. If you look at the first step, I just started with off part, and then I just taken one vertical part here, and just drawn a vertical, and after that I drawn another vertical, and again I drawn complete picture. This means incremental approaches means if you are making incremental process in a math, you can say like you are moving slowly but steadily forward. I'm moving slowly, that means I'm taking off by off, like small piece of, steadily I'm moving forward to get the complete picture. So incremental describes the regular measurable movements that are usually small initially, right? This is what the incremental approach. If you look at the iterative, I have a requirement and I will start with some blueprint here. So a process of arriving at decision, a desired result by repeating rounds of analysis or cycle of operations. I just drawn some blueprint here, and again I drawn some more print on that blueprint, and again I drawn it. Finally, I got the actual picture. That means I initially got the decision about the desired results and start developing. So by repeating the round of analysis or a cycle of operations, I will get the complete picture and I will get the complete project is going to be done. So this objective of this thing is to bring the desired decision or result closer to discovery with each repetition. This is what iterative. So these two things are being involved in Scrum. So incremental and iterative approach is nothing but Scrum methodology. Okay. I hope you clear on these incremental and iterative approaches, right? Good. And second thing is Scrum overview. So I will talk about overview of Scrum now, so that we'll have some idea on Scrum overview before getting to deeper. Okay. So in this Scrum overview, it's all start with the product vision here. This is my product vision. So where I have all backlog items and the business requirement and business values, which are gathered from the different persons. So based on the high level vision, we have a product backlog as understood as prioritized during the product discussion. It has a list of product backlogs in this my the initial step product vision. Okay. So from the product backlog items, the sprint team pulls items, some options of the items which are prioritized and planned for a sprint. Okay, so they will pull some PBI items here from the based on priorities, and they will plan sprint here. So they pull manageable chunks from the product backlogs. Okay, so and put into sprint backlog. So sprint backlog will be executed at activity level and the schedule plan, and keeping off doing things required and documents, and coding and testing with 24 hours and 30 days. So once they pull chunk of items from the product backlog items, the sprint backlog is going to execute the planning, development, spending time on 24/7, and spending in 30 days in the Scrum. Finally, they come up with some review. Okay, so this is what product increment. So one increment I got it, that will put it here, this one. So increment is just not a document of these product increments. So keep develop the piece by piece of project and integrate to a product with inline product requirement vision. Okay, this product increment is nothing but a list of documents or the requirement or the piece of development. This is nothing but keeping a development with piece by piece of project and integrated a product with incremental approach with inline product requirement vision. Okay, this is what the overview of my Scrum. So this is my product vision where I have our product backlog items, and sprint backlog items will pull some chunk of items as per prioritized, and they will start executing of your sprint development, spending of 30 days, spending of 24 hours, and with some 2 to 3 weeks spending on this and developing this and deliver to the client, and they will finish up the increment. This kind of increments happening repeatedly in the iterate on incremental approach, they will achieve the goal of final product with vision to the inline product development. Okay, this is the just overview of my Scrum overview, and next we'll see the roles and the process of Scrum. Okay, so far we have seen the Scrum definition, and we have seen overview of Scrum, how like it starts with from product backlog, the sprint team is start executing and planning of your task, spending 30 days, spending 25/7, and spending to the team, deliver an increment. This process will be incremental and iterative process, and they will increment, will get it, and they will add it and integrate to the inline product vision. Okay, in the Scrum roles, we'll see this is the final line. In the Scrum role, I can say we have three roles majorly. One is a product owner, and second one is Scrum Master, and third one is a sprint team. Okay, Scrum team. So first one is in my Scrum product owner, and this is Scrum Master, and this is my Scrum team. Okay, these three are the main roles: product owner, Scrum Master, and team. So what is this Scrum product owner? Product owner decided what should be produced so as to achieve success. Product owner always in the first place, you will think of like how we achieve success based on what he will define. He will get the input from the end users, team managers, stakeholders, executives, and industry experts, etc. And he will produce the product backlog, which contains the features of the product to be produced in order of priority, and they will put it into product backlog items. This is what the role of this product owner. You will get the input from end users, customers, teams, and other stakeholders and industry experts, and they will prioritize the items and they will put it into product backlog. This is the role of product owner. Okay, and coming to the product backlog, this is nothing but single master, the single master list of features, functionality, etc., order based and business value and rest. Product backlog is constantly being revised by the product owner to maximize the business of the team's effort. Okay, and ideally the sprint team can have 7 or more peoples. The team has to be cross-functional, containing members from the different vertical requirements for developing the product. The team is self-organized and self-managing, makes a commitment and manages its responsibilities. This is what the Scrum team role here. Scrum team have multi-skilled persons. That means self-organized and self-managing peoples. It makes commitment and manages its responsibilities. Sprint is referred to the fixed period of time that the Scrum team is planning, sprint teaming, sprint planning meetings, sprint backlog. They start drawing a burn down chart, and they will have a review once the sprint has been done, and then they will review it. They will again show it to the client, and they will attend the retrospective, and they will put on the points, and they will coming back to the email again with backlog items, and again they will pick up some of the chunk of items, and again they will start another sprint. This is the repeated process. Okay. When you talk about Scrum team, it may be 7+7 or more peoples, and they will self-managing and self-organized teams. So they will get the task from the sprint backlog items. So sprint is referred to the fixed period of time that the team commits to work in course of developing the product. So length of the team is decided by the team and the product owner are working at substantial piece of important to avoid burnout. So the sprint team length or the count of people are decided by the team and product owner, but not by any other persons like managers and other persons who are not involved in Scrum. So before each sprint, the team selects what it will commit to deliver by end of the sprint. That is what the main thing. So the team creates a task level plan for how they will deliver. Also, the team works together to create an initial assignment of tasks, and compares total estimated task hours with total estimated available hours to make sure we are not going to miss out the delivery. Okay, with the commitment we have to deliver it. That is what the spirit of sprint. Everyone, the team takes part regardless of experience level. So all are on the same level, same preference. During the sprint, what the team committed to deliver does not change, and the end date of the sprint does not change. So this is what the major point we have to note down here. During the sprint planning and development, what the team committed to deliver does not change. So no change once you start the sprint change development, and the end date of sprint does not change. Okay, this enables time or team to make and keep commitments. It gives the team focus and stability to the sprint, right? If you are changing and if you're saying change it, or if you're saying include this task, team will get frustrated. So they will not focus on the deliverable. So if you're not intending this, team will be constantly concentrating on the focus of ability of delivering things, and they will give you the good quality product. And if something major comes up, product owner can tag to the team to terminate the sprint permanently and then start a new sprint. That will happen once in a while. It's not frequently, but it written for not making changes during the sprint. The product owner can make any changes they want to the product backlog before the start of the next sprint. Product owner can add and remove, reorder the changes or items in the product backlog, and they can also make, they ask the team to re-implement work this already been done. Also, they are not satisfied. So it has the, they have authority. Okay. Here, each day the sprint team is having it and daily stand-up, so they will have less than 15 minutes. Everyone reports just 3 things done since yesterday and done by tomorrow, and blockings. Since what done since yesterday and what you are going to do in tomorrow and what are the blockages. These things the sprint team is updating every day. The sprint daily stand-up, which is conducting every day for 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes. Okay. And coming to this Scrum Master, third role, he is the main person who is conducting a meeting. Basically, Scrum Master notes blocks, blockages, and impediments, and afterwards helping to the peoples to resolve the problems. Other can say others can attend the meeting also, but they will not speak anyway. They will just listen it. Okay. The meeting is not for monitoring the tasks. The meeting is only for the sharing of the information between the sprint team. Scrum Master is the main person who is facilitating the things. So the sprint backlog lists all the tasks and the hours remaining for each. The burn-down chart graph is going to be drawn by the sprint team. The total hours left for all the tasks. The task board shows where tasks are in progress. Okay, the charts enable the team successfully self-manage and deliver what they committed by the end of the sprint. Okay, so the Scrum Master is a new role, so I can say it can be played by an existing person or some other person. The Scrum Master serves the team. That means helping them to resolve the blockages, protect the team, and guides the team if required. Without Scrum Master, the team has high risk of failure. This has to be noted again. So Scrum Master has to be there for this Scrum methodology. Otherwise, you will have a big failure, because someone should be there. Somebody should be there to look at all the impediments. If you take multiple activities and multiple roles, you'll not concentrate on the task what you are delivering. So Scrum Master should be there, and that is a part of your Scrum methodology. So to keep meetings in every day 15 minutes less than, so Scrum Master also having discussions with them, and he will note down all the points and he will help the team to resolve their problems. So the aim of the team is to complete 100% of what they committed, ideally in increment of potential shippable product at the end of each sprint. Actually, when the sprint has been done, it has some shippable product. That means with the coding and testing and everything is ready to shippable. So for a software, this means functionality has been designed, fully implemented, and fully tested with no major defects. Few teams can do potentially shippable product from sprint, but each sprint they work together closer to these goals. At the end of the sprint, the product owner, team, Scrum Master, and stakeholders come together and see a demo what the team has produced. The product owner gather feedback from the everyone, and is thinking of improving it because we have a review here. Everyone will be gathered here once sprint has been done. Scrum master, Scrum team, and the team manager and the client, they will see the development and they will note down the problems if they have anything, and they will look after to improve the process. This feedback is incorporated into the product backlog again. So the team and product owner and Scrum master meet at the end of the sprint to review their way of working and look for ways to improve their effectiveness. Okay, there is a mechanism for continuous improvement and also where critical problems are identified and addressed. Okay, and next, coming to the retrospective, this is the main problem, main area where you are noting down all the improvements, all steps wrongly we have done during the sprint development, and they will look at this before start the next sprint. Okay, this is all about the roles of Scrum. So product owner, Scrum master, and sprint team, Scrum team. These three are the main roles. And product owner is the main person of who is getting the current these persons and is putting into the product backlog is, and Scrum team is taking off these items from the product backlog and they will put it into sprint backlog and they will start executing a plan and having a daily stand-ups and having discussions and doing a development by 30 days 25 by 7, and they will update the sprint burnout chart to see the remaining efforts and remaining hours, and they will be knowing what they have been so far done and what they are going to be doing in the coming days. And every day they have a meeting less than 15 minutes and they will be sharing three things, like one is done since yesterday and done by tomorrow, and impediments are blockages. And once it is done, they will be sit together, product owner and Scrum master and other persons who are part of Scrum with along with client. They will see the demo and they will look at the shippable product without having major critical blocks. And once it is done, and they will have a retrospective review where they will note down all the process deviations and steps they have done in this earlier sprint, and they will look after coming sprint before commit to the next sprint. Okay, this is the entire process of your Scrum methodology and the roles. Okay, and when you talk about the summary of the Scrum overview, so as I told you, it's a iterative and incremental framework. Its cycles of work development duration is 2 to 4 weeks, occurs one after another without a pause. It's a time boxed, and the beginning cross-functional team forms the priority list based on this customer requirement. And during the sprint, the chosen items do not change, and every day inspection and adjustment happens. And at the sprint, we have a review with stakeholders. Feedbacks are taken and incorporated to the next sprint. And end of sprint, fully tested product is formed as per customer requirement. These are the main key objectives of your Scrum. Okay, so I hope you understand the Scrum methodology process, like overview and the roles and the process, and know the different approaches. We have iterative and incremental approaches in Scrum, and the benefits of Scrum and the earlier product management process. So please subscribe this YouTube channel for more videos on Scrum methodologies and other agile methodologies. And thanks for listening to this video. Thank you.